Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right. Daniel, my man, what's going on? Good morning. All right, let me get these tweets out here. Let's go. Perfect. All right, so the tweets are out. Let's get ready for this market, man. Holy moly. Majed, good morning, man. How you doing? Nino, good morning, good morning. All right, all right, all right. Legit Movers Chicago, good morning. What's going on? All right, let's take a look at the jobs report here. Let's take a look at this jobs report. Okay. So jobless claims came in at 1379, and the estimated was 1400. So a little bit better. Initial jobless claim was at 213 versus the consensus of 218. Perfect. Big Red Pond, good morning. Coffee time, yes sir. Skinny P, good morning. Sky, my man, what's going on? Good morning, good morning. All right, guys. Oh, my man. Big Red Pond, thank you for the $4.99, man. I appreciate it. You guys don't have to donate, but I do appreciate it. You guys are the best. All right, so we're going to wait for 8:35 here. And then we'll get things popping. Usually we'll go over the market analysis, what the market looks like, what we could be looking at going into today and tomorrow. And we'll talk about some of the free alerts. And then we'll dive in some of the questions you guys may have regarding some of the stocks you guys are looking at. Kadar, good morning, good morning. Rule, good morning from Torrance, California. Or I think that's California. All right, guys, you got about 3 more minutes and we'll dive right in. For those of you that are tuned in here nice and early, I appreciate you guys coming in. Go ahead and smash that like button for me. Let's get those likes up. I know YouTube does like getting likes. So it pushes the feed, I think, onto the browser feature when we are live. So let's get those likes up. And then we'll wait about 3.5 minutes here and we'll get going. 8:35 usually we'll start. And we'll get things going here. All right, all right, all right. Got about a few more minutes. We'll hang tight. And we'll get things popping. Tweets are out. Discord message is out. So we should have people rolling in here shortly. And once everybody's here, we'll get going. J1V32RC. Good morning, my man. How you doing? All right, I got my handy dandy drying tool out. Perfect, it's working fine. Edgar, just in time. Oh yeah, man. 2 more minutes and you would have been late. Technically, you're already late. I'm joking. Good morning to you too, my man. All right, guys, we've got about a minute left here. We'll dive right in. We'll go over the market analysis, what to look for, and then we'll dive into some of the free alerts. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we'll dive into some of the free alerts, and from there, we'll go into some Q&A regarding some of the tickers you guys want me to take a look at. And of course, as always, if you guys are asking me about a ticker, Make sure you let me know if you're looking to day trade it, swing trade it, and if it's a call or a put. That way I know what you guys are looking at, and I can give you my opinion on it better. Foolish Snowboarder, good morning. Happy fall. Yeah, man. It's starting to get a little chilly up here too, down in T-Dot. All right, got about 30 seconds. We'll get it kicked off here. Again, if you guys are tuned in here early, I do appreciate it. I know it's 8:30 in the morning. A lot of people don't actually wake up till 10-15 minutes before the market opens. So if you guys are up this early, you're ahead of the game. But let's go ahead and smash that like button. There's about 40 of you here and only 18 likes. So only half of you are liking these videos. Let's go. Let's get those likes up. All right. It is 8:35. So let's get started here. So first and foremost, we'll start with the SPY. All right. So the SPY, we had some support at this 381 level. And we constantly kept bouncing at this 381 level. All right. Now, why was this 381 level kind of vital or important, and why do we keep bouncing at that level? Well, let's take a look. Right. We had a push into this area of resistance, broke out, retested. Great. Then we came back down, tried to hold it, and then with the CPI numbers that came out on this day, we came right to it. Didn't really hold, too much selling pressure, and we cracked that level. All right. So the next level that we hit, that we found some support at, was these little wicks right here. Right. Resistance, broke out, tested again, held. So that level ended up being a pretty dominant level in the last few days. Right. We held that level very well. And then yesterday we broke that 381 level with pretty increased selling volume. You can see the selling volume kind of increased here. Right, so really the next big area of support is sitting at around this 372, 371 area, right? 371.50. Why? Because we have previous support here. You can see lots of support on this area right here. So if we pull, that's the area that we need to bounce at. That's the area we need to hold. Otherwise, we don't have much buying pressure until that 364, 362 level. Right, which is all the way down here, and it's the low of that doji. So that's the position we're kind of in now. Because we lost that prior support, we do have room to fall to the 372 level. Now, with that said, let's take a look at the intraday time frame. Okay, I'm going to look at the intraday time frame. I'm going to put all my levels back up here, and this is what we're paying attention to here. Okay, so we sold off, right? Your intraday low yesterday was around 380. Your pre-market high was around 380. So you can very easily see after that big sell-off, we tried to recover, hit that old area of resistance, and we continue to get that selling pressure again. So the level to kind of watch going into today is going to be this 376 level. Okay, this 376 level is vital. Why? Because after that big sell-off, if we continue to sell off, we can get accelerated selling. VIX can pop. We could see that pull back down to that 372, 371 area that we mentioned. Okay, that's that vital area of support on the daily. Now, if we hold this 376 level, we could look to retest these areas again, which was an area that we tried to test in the pre-market, and that area is vital. We need to get above this level if we're going to try to penetrate and move higher. Otherwise, we're going to reject and roll right back down and retest these pre-market levels here. Okay? If we could get up here early on and get above, then we can look to kind of try to push this 381 and possibly 383. And if enough strength come in this area, then obviously this yesterday's support area at 385. Okay, but the key level to watch going into open will remain at this 376 level. If that holds, then this area will be your next vital area to pay attention to, and then we can kind of decide. Okay, so we might end up in a situation where we kind of chop around in this area as well. Right, so that's what you got to pay attention to. Under 376, we could really easily roll back over into that 371, 370. And if we can reclaim this 379.50, then look for these tests in these areas up here. All right, so that's what I'm looking for in regards to the Qs. Here's your levels For those of you interested, take a screenshot, know your levels here. They tend to work out very well for me. And yeah, by all means, you're more than welcome to do that. Now I'm going to jump on to the QQQs. So let's take a look at the QQQ. Perfect. So the QQQ as well had some decent support right here. You can see that also broke down with increasing volume. Now your next area of pretty key support would be this 279.90, 280 level, which is the bottom of this candle right here. Right? And then under that you have support here at 276. Okay? Lose those, then you put yourself in a position where there's really not much support until 269.28. Right? This candle here after the FOMC is obviously a very bearish candle. We tried to push early morning, volatility came in, and the FOMC volatility was pretty wacky. Moves up, down. We had stocks hit highs of day twice and then go to lower day and break lower day. So just puts it in kind of perspective with the volatility we had yesterday. But these are the kind of supports that we're looking at. We broke old support with increasing volume, which could show us that there's more downside to come. So with that said, let's dive into the 15-minute time frame and take a look at some of the key levels on the Qs that we need to pay attention to. So just like we were paying attention to the SPY at that 376, our level here on Qs is 282, right? 282 is that level we need to pay attention to. Again, very similar look to the SPY. This was yesterday's low. We hit it in the pre-market, rejected, and now we're kind of consolidating right here above it, okay? So the level to pay attention to will be this 282 level out of the open. If we do break this level to the downside, then we could look for moves down here to 280, and then lose that. Obviously, you open up doors to that 276 level, okay? So Q is a little bit of a stickier situation where it does have quite a significant pocket if it starts losing this 282, 280 level. But on the upside here, if we're able to reclaim this 285, 285.50, then we can look to kind of try to push back and maybe get a relief bounce back at this 287, 289 level. Okay. But again, at the moment, we need to get this price action out of this little range that it's in. And once we do that, we should see moves on a few directions, either upwards or downwards, okay? So these are the levels you should pay attention to here. We have the upside and the downsides. You can screenshot and hold down for your records so you can take a look at it today. If we do penetrate some of them, you'll know which levels that are coming next, okay? Now, with that said, I'm going to jump into the free alerts. If you guys are still here, don't forget to go ahead and smash that like button. Let's jump into the free alerts and take a look at what we're looking to trade today. So first one on the list is BABA. Okay, so BABA is an interesting one. It lost a pretty key level on the daily yesterday, and coming to another area of support here. Okay, but there's two things that I want to pay attention to here. On BABA, if we can get back above this 83, we are looking for a push back to 84 and then possibly 85 area. Okay, we have a nice little cup forming here. If we can penetrate 83, get that relief bounce to 84, which is the most high it had yesterday, you can see rejection over that 84. You could see 85 and close to that open price from yesterday. Okay, now if we lose this 82 level, all right, just want to come down here. Ideally, you can get involved a little earlier at 82.16. Okay, that's that pre-market support that it's put in, and it's the overnight gap up here. If it does lose that 82.16 level, you could see that yank back down to 81 to be safe. I've labeled it at 82, which is the whole number. We lose that, we should see 81 on the downside, and when that breaks, it should really open up here on the bubble. Okay, there's a big pocket below that. Now, we'll talk about how I take these alerts after, for those of you guys that are interested. But that's the things I'm looking at here on BABA, long over 83, with the room to 84, 85, and then lose 82. get a nice pull down to the 81 level for a nice little $1 pop. Now remind you, this move is going to be about a 1.2%. So on a Thursday, 1.2% should pay you anywhere from 30 to 40% on the options underlying, maybe even 50% depending on how fast that move takes place. So as always, see money, take money, same with the downside. 1.2% move on the underlying should pay pretty good when it comes to the option premiums. Next one is Meta. So Meta, I want to pay attention to over 144. Okay, why? Because we have this 144 level that is yesterday's pivot low before we took off, pre-market here today, and if we get over this 144, we could look to push 145.50 and then possibly some a push into this 146.50. Okay, so the upside play on Meta has to be over 144. I'm not interested otherwise. Need to see that strength come in, need to see that volume break, then we can kind of push it to the 145.50 area. Now if we're going to lose this support and we start falling over, the level to watch here would be the 141. Okay, again, I just want to clear that whole number. If we clear that whole number, then we can see further downside on this. Now why is the downside interesting? So if we go to the daily here, you can see this 142 level was an area of support that I have, 142.19, and we kind of briefly closed under that, okay? But in the pre-market, we lost that a little bit and pulled down. So if we can open weaker and lose that 141 again, your next area of support on the daily is not until 137. So it does have room to fall. This little consolidation took place with that big selling coming back in. So just looking for more continuation on this one to see if we can break down a little bit more and get this yank back down to that 137 area. Okay, but obviously if we do reverse, which almost this looks like a double bottom in the pre-market here, neckline is right here at 43. We need 144 to break for the upside move. UPSD is the next one. So UPSD, very interesting chart it's been having along these IPO lows. And every time it's put in a doji, it's kind of reversed and shot up, right? Tuesday, it put in a doji, and yesterday it pushed up really nicely again. So today, we opened and then we closed near the exact same prices again. So another bit of doji being put in here, but this 2260 is the IPO lows. Okay, so what are we looking at here? 2350 calls over 2340. So ultimately, just want to clear this pre-market level. All right, at 2340. Long over that, then you get this nice push from an intraday pocket area that you can get to 2440 area. So 2340 to 2440. A lot of you might say that's not much of a move, but that right there is a 4% move, which will pay really well in the options underlying. Now, if we're gonna see this break, we really need to watch this collapse under 2250. All right, 2250 is the pre-market low from after hours yesterday. You lose that IPO low again. It needs to happen, and it needs to happen early on with that aggressive yank so we can kind of see if buyers are in control. If we get a wick down here and then buyers step right back up, I will probably try to anticipate this break at 2340 as well. Okay. So let's go back to BABA here so I can showcase. Some of you guys will always ask me, how do you take the alerts? How do I know when to enter? So let's go over that a little bit here, and then we can kind of talk about it. Okay, so in regards to the alerts, I always say if it's within the first 5-10 minutes, I've done this long enough to understand where there's buying pressure, selling pressure, and I sometimes anticipate these moves. But to me, when the trigger happens right within the first 5-10 minutes and the price is kind of hesitating right under here, I almost always get in right before we penetrate the trigger level and take this premium juice that we get for this move up. Okay, I want to be in this move in the first 5-10 minutes with that big volatility, so I can get out of my trades within 2 to 3 minutes, take my 20-30% and be happy with it. Now, a lot of you guys don't have the knack for that, or don't have the risk tolerance for that, and that's absolutely fine. You don't have to necessarily take the trade in the first 5-10 minutes if it happens. you'll just have to wait for a better setup. So sometimes, the stock will consolidate, and an hour into the market, it starts to penetrate that level. So at this point, I wouldn't take the breakout right at that level, because you're an hour or two into the market, you have lower volume, so the chances of this hitting and rejecting is very high. So what you want to do is wait for the breakout, the retest, and then get in on the retest here and take that to the upside. And with every breakout of trigger or area of resistance, what you want to see is increasing volume, and on the pullback, you want to see decreasing volume. That tells you the confirmation that this was a valid move. The pullback is also valid, and then we're getting off to the races. Okay. Now again, with that said, if the stock, for example, opens and then just collapses down here, and then all of a sudden market reverses and we get a straight push up here, you don't chase this. You don't chase this trigger right here. Doesn't make any sense. It's gone from 81.50 to 83, right? So in a sense, it's moved from the lows to the high about 2%. The chances of you taking a trade here and expecting a higher move is very slim. So oftentimes new traders will see this come up here. They say, oh, that's the trigger. They take the trigger here. This thing collapses right down. They get stopped out. This comes back and moves up. Okay. So understand where the stock was and where it is. If it moves from this 81.20, 81.50 all the way to your trigger level, what you want to happen here, you need to wait for some sort of a consolidation right under this level, a pattern, a flat top, and then you can kind of take that breakout right there. Okay. So hopefully that kind of explains how to take those trades and whatnot. I'm going to jump into the chat here. If you guys are still here, go ahead and smash that like button, and let me see what stocks you guys are looking to trade today. Again, let me know if you're looking to day trade it, swing trade it, calls or puts. Drop it in the chat. I'll go over it, and we'll kind of talk about some of those stocks as well. Meta today, bounce for a call. So yeah, I mean, again, I would wait for 144. If 144 breaks to the upside, great. You can take advantage for a run into that 145.50. You can see that was an area of support yesterday. On Tuesday. So that's a decent area of resistance you can take some profits at. Okay, so 144 needs to break though, then you can take that move to the upside for a bounce play, and then that would be the only time I would really take calls on Meta. We got to get above that 144. What do you think of Nvidia? Calls at 130.9, 130.30 from March 2021, demand imbalance, or puts around 139 from yesterday's day trade. All right, let's take a look at Nvidia. So calls at 130.90. First of all, let's take a look at the daily here. All right. Yeah, 130.90 is decent support. I'm not a big fan of just blindly buying into support. I don't do that. It's got to form some sort of a reversal pattern, some sort of something that tells me it's going to start continuing higher. If there's a candle, if there's a hammer, if there's buying pressure, if there's wicks, then possibly yes, you could start a call option at that support level at your 130.90 area. But for a day trade on this one, again, it would have to clear 134. There's just nothing interesting here for me on Nvidia for a day trade, other than it has this topping wick. I would look for more downside move under that 130, under that 130.70, 130.50. If we roll over and break down, the downside move makes sense, but the upside move, there's just not enough room for me to make any money here. If we take, this trigger here, you're going to kind of get stopped close to this area, and then if we consolidate above this 134.60, maybe then you can try to push to that 138 level. But otherwise, nothing really there for me in regards to Nvidia. Or buying puts at 139.50, 138. So if it came up here, you wanted to buy puts. Again, yeah, those are just support and resistance areas that you're identifying. But without a reversal, without a doji, without a bearish candle, you can't just get into the trade and say, okay, we're at resistance, I'm just going to buy puts, or we're at support, I'm just going to buy calls. You know, your game plan makes sense. You're at resistance and you're at support. So the game plan makes sense, but you have to wait for some sort of a pattern, some sort of a candlestick, some sort of a reversal in order for you to get involved on the trade. Tesla day trade on Tesla calls. So Tesla calls. Let me take a look at the daily chart. Inverted hammer, and looking a little bit weak here, gapping down to 302. Okay. Tesla calls. You would have to wait to clear that 305 level. Although I'm not a fan because there's too much overhead resistance. 305 will 304.50 actually. 304.50 will give you a push to 306. That's only a 0.5% move. Not really interested to try to catch that. Lots of resistance there yet from yesterday. So I wouldn't really look into trying to buy calls there. Just there isn't enough room. I don't like to buy calls or puts when there's people that are going to be in the way. I want to buy them, and I want to buy calls at an area where there isn't much overhead. So with Tesla, we have too much overhead. We have obviously this 200 moving average, this pre-market high we need to get above, and then we have yesterday's pivot low we need to get above. And if we get above that, we could possibly look to push towards this 309.30. Maybe if we consolidate above this, if we shoot up here, consolidate above that 306 and look for that next leg up, maybe that's a 1% move. You could make some money on the options. But to try to risk your money to make, a 0.5% move, not sure if I would do that on Tesla here today. It's not clean enough chart for me. Next one, we're looking at Apple day trade call. Everyone's looking at day trade calls today, huh? So this big wick yesterday doesn't really put me in any comfortable position to start buying calls on Apple. Again, every chart looks similar here. You had that massive, volatility. You've put in a low, and we've tested that low, and we failed to get above it. Now that low needs to break to the upside. So this again on Apple, you got to get above 155. Then you can kind of look for $1 move on it towards this 156 level. Okay, and again, maybe at that point you get a 0.8% move that might pay on the option side. But I'm really hesitant on buying calls on some of these names with the way the market kind of sold off and dipped down here. We'll have to wait to see how it's going to work, how the market's going to open, and are we going to penetrate these prior highs? Okay, if we penetrate these pre-market highs, if we penetrate yesterday's pivot lows and get above that resistance level, then great, we can look to take some calls. But you have to be really patient. Don't just blindly buy calls because you think the market's down too much. So Gurav Kumar, thank you for answering the question. No problem. All right, I also wanted to take a look at, what was it? Oh, Amazon put. He's asking about Amazon put. Let's take a look at Amazon. 118. I would possibly wait for the 117 break. We have some support at 117.30. If you take the 118 put, you're going to run into support. And also you have some pre-market supports that can get in the way here. 118 break will bring you right back down to support of 117. I will wait for 117 to break. And if 117 breaks, it could really open up and give you some downside move here, okay? So you can see that 117.30 is right here where this old resistance is, and that could really hold up. So if we lose 117, then we can look for further downside move, but the 118 will be a little bit too early there. Google put swing. So Google actually looking a little bit rough here. The next big support on Google is 96.17. But for a swing, I'm not sure if I would swing it. It's gone from 112 all the way down to 100 and breaking down. I'm not sure if I would swing it. I would try to possibly look for puts under 99, under 98.50 to take a move back down to this 96 if that's the next big support area. But other than that, I wouldn't try to swing puts here. I think the risk to reward is a little skewed to the wrong side to be buying puts on a swing at this point. Nvidia put 129. I think 129 is a little late. You could take it under the 130.50, and then you can get that yank to the 128.70 area. 129 would be too late. Stock's sitting at around 133 right now. To take it at 129, you'll be buying puts right into support, which is not ideal. So possibly under 130.5 would be a better area, and then you can kind of take that acceleration down to the 128.27. All right, guys, if you guys are still here, go ahead and smash that like button. Remember, every Thursday I do go live right here on YouTube. But now I got to jump back into the Discord and get ready for the market open and the live screen share that we do there. All right. So, again, thank you guys all for tuning in. Remember, every Thursday we're right back here. If I did miss your question, if you guys have questions you want to ask me, go ahead and shoot me a message on Discord or Twitter. I answer all my DMs, and I'll be able to answer your questions then. All right. But right now, I got to get back to the room, get ready for market open, and we'll catch you all next week right here on YouTube. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.